On February 28th, we got Wave 1 of the Splatoon 3 DLC featuring the Inkopolis Plaza, and while there were a few cool things like the new shops and the Squid sisters, I was focused on something more important, Little Buddy. I knew our loyal companion had a few hiding spots in Splatsville and suspected we'd see him again in this new plaza, and I was correct. Some of these spots are quite hard to see, so in this video I'll show you all of Smallfry's spots in Inkopolis Plaza, along with the best ways to see them. Let's start off with the more visible ones. In this first spot, our little buddy can be seen sitting on a stool close to the window in the coffee shop near the alley. He's surrounded by a few jellies who seem to be totally chill with the fact that there's a salmonid hanging out in their coffee shop. But maybe they're just happy he's supporting local businesses. Whatever the case may be, this spot is very reminiscent of the one in Splatsville where he can also be seen getting coffee on top of the deep cut studio. So is it canon now that Smallfry likes coffee and can handle caffeine without perishing? Anyways, this next spot is the one that could be seen in the DLC trailer shown in the Nintendo Direct. Our friend can be found sitting on the Ammonite sign in front of the store, once again showing us that he has great balance. The spot is again reminiscent of one in Splatsville where he's also hanging out near Ammonites. He seems to have an affinity for that store, or maybe he just wants to buy a weapon for himself. But did you know that Little Buddy is a Squid Sisters fan? In Alterna, he can be heard singing Calamari Incantation, and in Inkopolis, you can see him looking at the two idols. If you go up the ramp to the Squid Sisters studio, sometimes he'll be on the railing staring at them. He seems quite mesmerized by the duo. I wonder if he can understand the Inkling language, or if he just thinks they're cool. Either way, he has good taste since he's a fan of Callie and Marie. Now this is where these spots get a little harder to find. Here, Smallfry can be found in the window of Shrimp Kicks in the bottom right. Half of his body is hidden and there's window stickers right on top of him, so it can be quite hard to spot him there at first. He seems quite happy to be observing the world from there. I think he could be good friends with Fred Crumbs. But this next spot is probably the funniest because of how strange it is, and it has been dubbed the Little Buddy jump scare by the Splatoon community. Sometimes when you're about to enter the lobby and the door opens, Smallfry can be seen just hanging out in there. It honestly feels so out of place, and that's why it's one of my favorite spots for him. It's quite funny because it's that small area behind the door that literally no one ever actually thinks about until there's something unusual like a Little Buddy. But I guess Smallfry isn't the biggest fan of Inkopolis because he can also be found at the train station sometimes looking like he's waiting for a train back to Splatsville. This spot is harder to see well, but I found that using photo mode is the best option here. I guess he could get free train rides since he's technically a child, but I doubt he'd be allowed if there's no guardian with him. He never actually takes the train though, so he might just be interested in watching them go by. Now we get into the more absurd spots for our friend. On the left up high, there's a big white fox statue, and sometimes Smallfry can be seen chilling between its ears. It's quite hard to see him well, but I found that zooming in from the first ramp on the right or using photo mode worked pretty well. I mean, I knew salmonids could jump pretty high up, but this is a bit much. At least he won't grow up with a fear of heights. Admittedly, this next spot is pretty messed up, to put it nicely, because you can't even find him without using photo mode. You need to step up on the railing near the street lamp or go on the street lamp itself, open photo mode and move your camera. Then you'll be able to see him on top of a box on the shoal right in front of the big sign. This specific spot took me over 30 minutes of searching and I honestly felt like I was going crazy. I didn't think that silly salmonid would only be visible in photo mode. But this next spot is the most concerning by far. Little Buddy can be seen outside of Inkopolis Plaza on a small pole on top of a building. If you go on the ramp and look outside of the plaza, you can make out his silhouette on top of the pole. This one really takes an observant person because it's so hard to spot. I mean, he's so far away you can't even see the details on his body. This tiny salmonid truly lives life on the edge. And finally, we have the most insane spot for Little Buddy, the Inkopolis Tower. You can see him by going on the ramps and either zooming in or using photo mode. He'll be found inside the Inkopolis Tower way up high, and he's once again so far away that you can barely see him. These last few hiding spots have been crazy, and I don't know who allowed him to go there. Clearly, this child cannot be left unattended while we play because he'll wander off and find himself on some random pole out of bounds. Anyways, those were all 10 of our little companion spots. I don't think I missed any, but if I did, feel free to let me know in the comments. Who knows where else he could be hiding. Clearly, this time the devs wanted to give me a challenge, and it took way too much time to find some of these insane hiding spots. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe on your way out, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.